Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Fast Football and Philosophy with me, Dr. Adam Foxon.
Me, Professor Jack Cunningham.
Jack, it's a new look for the pod. We're at our homes.
We're at our homes, yeah. So maybe it's unusual, isn't it? But let's hope it works. Let's hope the chemistry continues at a distance. Most of my relationships in my life have been at a distance like this. You know, once I get near someone physically, it all breaks down. So,
Poor your wife, by the way.
to be honest with you, she lives in Ireland at the moment more than she lives here. So,
And happier for it too.
happier for it.
How was your Christmas, Jack?
I don't want to talk about my Christmas. It wasn't great. The only good thing about my Christmas is it couldn't possibly be worse next year. But that's a subject for a different day. What about yourself? You had a good time?
Yeah, my Christmas was very relaxed, really chilled. Actually, I did absolutely well. I did nothing. It was amazing.
Oh,
Um,
that sounds nice.
yeah, it was. I'm hoping to make someone's Christmas even better, Jack.
How's that?
Because if you remember, on Boxing Day, we released a quiz. We have been inundated, and I mean inundated, Jack. We've had loads of people from all over the world. I didn't realise what our listenership was like, but it is actually truly global.
Hey,
People from all over the world. We've had people from Oman. We've had people from Australia, America, Sweden, from all over the place. I think there's 11 separate countries. So
fantastic.
we're doing all right.
We
And
haven't cracked the South American market, Adam. That's my New Year ambition.
yeah, there must be someone somewhere that's interested in, in philosophy and football in South America. Unfortunately for us, though, Jack, there's been a bit of an issue. It's going to get expensive for us because there was a draw.
Drugs test. It's the only way to solve it, Adam.
Why would you drugs test for a draw?
I don't know, but I'm clutching at straws here.
Um, so there was two winners, and they both actually got different quotes wrong, which I found quite interesting. So we have our first winner, without further ado, is a Paul Whitbread. So well done to you, Paul.
Well done, Paul.
And our second winner is a Daniel Robinson. So round of applause for Daniel Robinson and Paul Whitbread. Very good, very good.
Well
Um, we'll quickly run through all the quotes,
Yeah,
and then I'll tell you which ones that they got wrong,
yeah.
and then we can laugh at them, and then we'll move on to what we actually want to talk about, which is far sexier and far cooler.
Okay, just one quick look at the prize, Adam. This will be
Oh.
way too them. Who wouldn't want one of them? Show me the person who wouldn't want one of them.
And if I can say so, Jack, it is looking great on you.
Yeah. And that's post-Christmas, by the way. It's figure hugging. It takes a stone off the wearer.
I wish it did. I've put on £6 over Christmas, so I didn't do nothing.
You might have to wear two of them.
Right. Okay. So we'll start. I'll go first if that's all right.
That's all right. Yep, go on.
Nice. Okay. So it was Nietzsche who said that when 100 men stand together, each of them loses his mind and gets another.
Okay, yeah. So obviously, he wasn't. Well, I say obviously, probably not talking about football, but it's kind of football related, isn't it? Who hasn't done that before? Lost their mind to gain another in a football crowd.
That's kind of what football was back in the day. Well, was it not just like massive crowds of people, towns against towns, and villages against villages, and
Yeah. I think that's it. And obtaining a collective consciousness. That's what it was about, Adam. That's what they were going for. Okay, number 2 was, today most people see football as a competition, a confrontation, a war between two opposites. But to start with, it is a great form of art. And that was Socrates. But
Hmm.
crucially, not the Greek Socrates, the Brazilian Socrates.
Yeah.
The legendary Brazilian World Cup winner, Socrates.
Nice. Very good. The next one, as far as I'm aware, did not win the World Cup. I wouldn't be bothered if we lost every game as long as we won the league. Who was that, Jack?
That
Who was
was
that?
that was Mark Viduka.
Mark Viduka.
No philosopher, as was apparent by the quote. He runs a coffee shop in Croatia now, I believe.
I
Yeah.
thought he was Australian.
Yeah. I think he married a Croatian woman, and he's pulling cappuccinos in in Dubrovnik or somewhere in Croatia, and happy out.
Fair
I
play
hope
to
they
him.
haven't put him in charge of finances.
If we lose every pound, I don't mind as long as we get another coffee shop. Amazing.
Classic.
Who's
Classic.
next?
Okay, number 4. In professional football, like everything else, the crime does not matter so long as the alibi is good. And that was a Uruguayan writer, thinker, and journalist called Eduardo Galeano.
What do you know about him?
He's a great writer. He's a great writer.
He's Uruguayan.
I don't know whether he can kick snow off a rope, but he can write, and he does like his football.
And he must do, because everyone in Uruguay loves their football.
Of course they do.
First team to win the World Cup, Jack.
Yeah. That's amazing,
There you go.
though, isn't it?
There you go.
Yeah.
Number 5 then. A football team represents a way of being, a culture. And the man who said that was a Michel Platini.
The great Michelle.
The great Michel.
Okay. Number 6. There are scientists who tell you the spirit because... Can I start that one again, Adam? There are scientists who tell you the spirit doesn't exist because you can't measure it. Bollocks, it does exist. That is the fine philosopher who went under the name of Sam Allardyce.
Big Sam.
Big Sam, when he wasn't...
If anyone's a philosopher, it's Big Sam. Anyone's a philosopher. I reckon if we were to find him in a pub, 6 pints deep, he's getting deep, isn't he? He's talking about the nature of reality. He's talking about hyper reality. He's without a doubt, of course he is.
His feet.
What are we next? Number 7. Football is a model of individualistic society. It demands initiative, competition, and conflict. And that was Gramsci.
Oh, I like a bit of Italian
Gramsci.
socialism.
Well, wasn't he part of the Communist Party?
Yeah, he was. He comes up with the word hegemony, but that's for another podcast, Adam.
Nice. Do continue.
Power is only too happy to make football bear a diabolical responsibility for stupefying the masses. And
Sounds
that
deep.
is our old friend Baudrillard.
Ah, my friend and yours.
Yeah.
Nice. Very nice. We know all about Bertrand now, don't we? Number 9. If God had meant football to be played in the air, he'd have put grass up there. That is... He could be a mystic, actually. If anyone's going to be a mystic in football, it's definitely this guy. It's Brian Clough.
It's Cloughie.
Cloughie.
Great quote.
My favourite quote from Brian Clough is... and everyone does this now after another famous podcast kind of got him on. He used to call one of his goalkeepers shit house, but he used to shout it really loudly. That was also my best Brian Clough impression. You're not going to get it again. So
that was
there you
good.
go.
It was like he was in the room. That was outstanding.
I'm not going to make the joke I was going to make. Yeah, go on. Who's next?
Okay, number 10. I have never seen a Saka money score a goal. And that's Wilkinson.
Yeah, Howard Wilkinson.
Harold Wilkinson.
Of Leeds fame.
Leeds fame.
Very good. Very, very. And at the time, probably right. Leeds at the time were flying. I think they were.
Oh yeah.
I think they were buying everyone left, right, and centre. Number 11. Train the right way. Help each other. It, as in football, is a form of socialism without the politics. And that can only be one person.
That can only be one.
Who's in a very particular place in England, if indeed it even is England, Jack.
It's not.
It's not. It's Bill Shankly.
It's Bill Shankly, legendary manager of the 33rd county of Ireland, which is Liverpool.
I'll let you make that argument. Who's next?
Okay, football, a game in which everybody gets hurt and every nation has its own style to play, which seems unfair to foreigners. And that's the great George Orwell.
Very much a philosopher, I would say, and also almost like he could see into the future, you might say.
He was very good at that. Very handy at the old prophecy.
What do you think Orwell would say about Trump's America, Jack?
Oh, there'd be a book there, wouldn't there?
I think there already is. 1984. Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit of Animal Farm stirred in.
Right. Lastly, then we have number 13. Unlucky for some, although actually not unlucky for any of our listeners, Jack, because I don't know if you've noticed this, but so I was in control of putting our quiz onto social media, and I omitted the 13th question, so nobody answered the 13th question. So
Should we put it out there anyway?
Oh, do you know what? That might have made a really good tiebreaker question, but never mind.
We should have thought of that.
Yeah, we've declared it now already. So this person said, football is simple. You are in time or too late. When you are too late, you have to leave earlier. And that was Johan Cruyff of Total Football. Decent. I think we've done all right there, Jack.
Yeah. That's great. Good. I like the fact that we've got two winners. That's nice. This is the season to be giving out stuff and being generous.
Keeping people nice and warm.
Exactly.
That's what they're heating on now. They've got to stick on the FFP hoodie, haven't they? Happy days. They are nice and warm actually as well, aren't they? They are lovely. Yeah. How do you feel about us not being the only two to have them now, though, Jack? They're out there in the world.
Oh, really? Yeah. I don't know what I feel about that, actually.
Yeah. One day you might bump into someone on the street who's wearing a fast football and philosophy hoodie.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
I don't know. That would be excellent, wouldn't it? Yeah. Hopefully it will be in Uruguay. Walking on the beach with Eduardo, having a good old chat.
Well, we don't really want to be talking about what's happening in Uruguay because there's to be frank, and that's a joke which we will understand a bit later on. There's something a lot closer to home that we want to be talking about to kick off season 2 with a bang. Actually, it's a bit of an occult bang, you might say. We want to be talking about Tottenham Hotspur, don't we, Jack?
We do.
There's something about Spurs, and actually it was Dan. Just tell us a bit more about what Dan wrote into us about.
Dan McCready, who's a follower of ours in London, sent us a podcast. It was a Guardian weekly football podcast from 2018, and Spurs had just lost their 8th semi-final or something. And there was a group of people talking, but mostly it was on this subject. It was a good old spat between Barry Glendenning, Irish journalist, and Barney Ronay. And they were talking about...
Ronay. Barney
Is it
Ronay.
Ronay? Is that right?
Ronay.
Okay, sorry about that. All right, and they were talking about Spurs, and it kind of came up at the end. Well, like what? So Glenn Denning was basically arguing that they are serial bottlers, and he's kind of got a point, hasn't he? It's kind of become a phrase now, hasn't it? Oh, they've done a Spurs.
Yeah,
And that's kind
yeah.
of like, you know.
How Spursy.
Yeah. So it is kind of he has got a bit of a point, but Ronay contradicts him and says, no. What are you trying to say? Is it a curse? Is it a witch's curse? So we wanted to explore this idea because it throws up a lot of philosophical points. Just to set the scene, though. And incidentally, to say that we're not going to just be talking about the curse. Next week, we're going to be unpacking it more fully and talking about a very, very important ontological question that I think unknowingly Glenn Denning and Ronay kind of touched on in their conversation with each other about Spurs. Okay.
So before we get into that, then just very briefly unpack what ontology actually means
It
for our
means
listeners.
basically the science of being. What is what is being? What do we consist of? What does anything consist of? What's the
Existence, right?
Existence? Yeah.
Okay.
So we're talking about that in relation to Spurs and in relation to curses and
it's almost about what is Spurs as a thing, like what are Spurs, and Tottenham Hotspur obviously, and relating that to maybe they're just kind of are they just doomed? Are they? Is that kind of like an essential part of their character that they are just never ever going to go anywhere and do anything apart from win, a Europa Conference League every now and then?
Yeah. So we will, as I say, be unpacking it more fully next week in our episode and talking about all kinds of very important philosophical issues, pinning it all down to Tottenham Hotspur and their position, because they are unusual, aren't they? Because they do very well and they are very good, and then they're not, and so it's
they're not. In fact, actually, we know this, don't we? Because and actually, another listener pointed out to me that Giorgio Chiellini once gave an interview. He just played Spurs, and he came out and he said because basically Spurs had kind of put up a really good fight and they'd made and Chiellini's team had made a really good emergence back into the game, and they said, how did you know that you had this in you? How did you know that you could do this? And Chiellini basically just replies back with, we know the history of Spurs. I'll put it on at the end.
Oh, that's so good. That is really good.
Everyone knows this.
By way of introduction, Adam, if I could just set the scene, because I think a lot of people think, I know what a curse is, and but let me just set the historical foundation to our next podcast, because the curses are really, really important in history, and it's culturally all over the world. Curses have been very important, and they're very important because we've only very recently in modern times had a proper working judiciary and police force, and if you haven't got that and you're running a society, your social control isn't great. So curses have this very, very important function of social control. So you get it in the Old Testament. Moses is cursing and blessing, but it's always the person who has the power to bless has the power to curse. Okay, so Jesus in the New Testament curses a fig tree because it doesn't give him any figs. And Vedic religions, the sages, they're like a powerhouse of verbal kind of power, basically. And in Buddhists, they have poison songs. The Buddhist priests have poison songs in which they can poison somebody. In my own country, in Ireland, the king in his entourage always has had a druid who they said could rhyme someone to death. Poetry was really important in ancient Ireland, and they could rhyme someone to death. And these things actually worked. Obviously not in the way that they thought it was, with this magic involved. But psychologically, you could kill somebody by putting a curse on them. Medieval
Is that in some kind of relation to the Blarney Stone? Is that?
Yeah, no doubt. The Blarney Stone is more of well. I tell you what, the Blarney Stone is. A king in County Cork saved the life of a witch. I think she was trying to cross some water, and he saved her life. So she gives him this stone, which is full of magic and blessing. That means if you kiss it, you get a gift of the gab. So it's all related, isn't it? It's blessings and curses. I think if the king had ridden by, she would have put a curse on him. Very important in Ireland. St. Patrick, right, on the holy mountain of Tara, he has competitions with druids. He makes one druid go flying up in the air. It's a cursing competition. Then the druid lands on the ground and his head shatters everywhere. And St. Patrick's won. Job done. This is great sport. So
That's not very saintly, is it?
Well, you say that, Adam, but it's highly appropriate for a saint or a holy person to behave like that. Saint Maddock once said, "Woe betide anyone who has an angry saint for a neighbour." These were the guys who had the power. For us, it doesn't seem very, very saintly because it's not good, is it, to smash someone's head on a rock? But no, it was considered to be a good thing. So curses are very, very powerful. We are going to discuss next week. Obviously, we are not taking seriously the idea that they actually work in terms of magic, but in terms of powerful suggestion and self-fulfilling prophecy, they could work.
It's the psychological impact of potentially being cursed more than anything else.
Yeah. I watched a documentary when I was a kid in the 70s about this community in Africa who live very, very deep in the rainforest. One of them gets a curse put on him by their version of a holy man or priest or sage. And you watch him during this documentary get very, very sick. And then recovers, because nearly all the time there is an antidote to it, which comes from the person giving the curse. Right. In England, there was a ceremony called the glamour, and in this ceremony, you brought down a curse on someone who's not behaving themselves, and then when the consequences of this were on them, they would feel terrible. They'd be ostracized. They might even get psychologically sick or psychosomatically sick, and then you could lift it again. The same priest could lift it again. But it was an important ceremony in medieval times in Europe.
So basically, essentially what we're saying is the people with the power are the ones who can wield it, and they can do it to either bless or curse, right? And that makes sense.
Yeah.
So essentially what we're saying then is, because at the moment there's a phrase, and it's known as the Premier League merry-go-round, and it's this idea that managers just tend to kind of get sacked from one job and then they go to another job, and then they go from that job to another job, and it's just a merry-go-round. What we're saying is that potentially managers need to learn how to bless and curse so that they can control their dressing rooms and get going.
Yeah. And also, let me just put this out there as well. Football crowds, when they want to verbally abuse the referee, it's usually threats of violence or insults, isn't it? Both of them are entirely useless. If football teams could start employing people with the power of cursing, it would have to be a registered holy person like a rabbi or a priest or... I know what you're going to say. They wouldn't do it. They wouldn't do it because even though they're qualified, they're not going to get involved in all that medieval cursing and stuff. However, Adam, I'm just going to put this out there. I think me and you are qualified to supply curses, and we want to tell any club out there who's willing to throw us a few bob. We'll come on at half time. We'll curse the referee. We can have all the crowd involved as well. They could be all singing, "You'll never reproduce again." And we could lay on the curse. We could curse the opposition crowd if they've not been behaving themselves. An excellent service at very, very reasonable prices. Just putting it out there, Adam.
That sounds controversial, but I will be the first into Fratton Park throwing around curses. After a 1-1 draw with them. That's amazing. That's amazing. I think that's probably a good place to leave it. It's before anyone leaves a curse on us, I suppose. So we'll leave it there, and next week on Thursday, because every single episode is going to come out on Thursday. We'll make sure that we go into more detail about Spurs being Spursy and how it might be related to them being accursed.
And the ontology of success or failure.
Oh, that is the title, isn't it? The ontology of success or failure. A case study in Spurs. Nice. Well, we'll leave it there then. So it's a goodbye from me.
And it's a goodbye from me. See you next week.
Bye-bye. Hello, everyone. Just before we forget, here is that classic pearl of wisdom from Giorgio Chiellini. Take it away, Giorgio.
When you changed formation and the two goals came very quickly.
Yeah, but Tottenham, it's the history of the Tottenham. They always created many chances and scored so much, but at the end they miss always something to arrive at the end. We believe in the history. I think